Mm, for me, I think sometimes it feels like through meditation, I'm more aware of the negative emotions, like anxiety, or I think before yeah, like you said, distracted myself or suppressed it, or I don't know, maybe
Yeah,
avoided
yeah,
the situation altogether. And so sometimes it feels more intense,
right.
this the emotions. And and knowing this, it already helps to
Yeah,
let go of it and yeah.
yeah. And I like the way you put that, that we become more aware of the negative emotions. It's not that more negative emotions have come along. It can seem that way. It can be confusing. Um, but that's not what's going on. What's going on is that because in meditation, we settle down, things become quieter. We can become more aware of the stuff. You know, I remember people used to in my days with Maharishi back in the 70s and 80s, and at that time the whole kind of Freudian model, of the unconscious was I think more popular than it is now. And so people would always ask him about, well, what about the unconscious? And what he would say is that meditation abolishes the unconscious because it becomes conscious. We hear this word, the unconscious. We make it a noun, and then that tends to reify it, to falsely characterize it as a thing, as an object. But it has no substance. The unconscious is actually just a situation of being, of failing to be conscious of some of the stuff that's going on. And then as the mind gets quieter and we're able to more clearly see this stuff that's been going on, it's like, oh, of course this has been here all along. Of course this has been here all along. And and some of the stuff we go, oh, that's not useful. That's not making my life better. That's not, that's I and a lot of it will be in terms of look for where you feel resistances. Like for a long time, for years, I've had this thing when I find myself like in a parking lot or somewhere where there's a bunch of young people, like high school students, hanging out and whatever, smoking their cigarettes and being cool, and I've just automatically had a resistance to it, like making them wrong for being that way. And it was such a habit that I didn't realize that I was doing it. And then finally I started becoming aware of it, because that's again, that region of my so-called unconscious was becoming conscious. And I just looked at it and went, what's going on here? Why? They're just living their lives, just being who they are, being dopey teenagers the way I was once a dopey teenager. What's going on here? And I realized, oh yeah, back in high school, in my days of being a dopey teenager, where I sometimes felt that, often felt that, oh, I wasn't one of the cool kids, and I wasn't, and I sometimes, when I was a little bit younger than that, actually got bullied and beat up a couple of times and so forth. And so I'm carrying around that wariness and that resentment of the high schoolers who feel strong and confident and all of that. And and if I'm to whatever extent I'm carrying around that resistance, making them wrong for being who they are, for just living their lives, I'm I'm preventing myself from seeing the jewel in the lotus of who they are. I'm preventing myself from seeing, oh, the, this is just God making one more kind of face at me. This is just the beingness manifesting as this character and this character and this character of the movie. And just recognizing that stuff, recognizing the pattern. Oh, this is what I've been doing. then you don't have to work at trying to chip it away. Once you've recognized it, it becomes harder to sustain. You've seen how the trick is done, and you've seen, oh, you're the one that's not only the one that's being tricked, but you're the one who's doing the trick, and it just becomes harder to do. You go, oh, that again. Or, oh, in relationships, in my relationship with my spouse or my partner, right? Where's the thing that anytime she does this, I do that. I automatically, kind of like as a reflex, go to this thing, to being a wise guy in this way, right? That's not helpful. I don't have to do that. I have more freedom. And again, it's just a matter of seeing that. Seeing, oh yeah, I keep doing that. I don't need to do that. In a sense, it all comes out of fear. I fear that, okay, I fear that if, Yafa recently pointed out that I keep leaving the medicine cabinet, the door of the medicine cabinet in the bathroom, I keep leaving it open. And I said, no, I don't. And it's great when it's these dumb little things. None of these things are going to be the end of the world either way. I go, no, I don't do that. And then she, and because if we look in it a little bit, gee, if I'm the guy who leaves the medicine, who can't even manage to close the medicine cabinet, how untogether am I? I can't be that guy, right? The fear of that. And then she pointed out a couple of times, oh, look, who was in here last? Oh, the medicine cabinet's open. Okay, good. Guess what? Turns out I am that guy, and I didn't die or get pregnant. The world did not end. It's fine. It's fine. Oh, what a relief. Oh, turns out I was just human. So yeah, this stuff is great. It's great.